And now, more You Talk now.
Hey guys, You Talk Radio. I'm here with two other You Talk people.
Hey.
It's the crew.
We're here.
Who's in the crew?
Larissa.
And Katie.
You know, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that happened just a couple of days ago. I'm watching the news. Okay, I'm a news junkie. You guys already know that. I get news feeds and all this stuff. And sometimes when I'm eating breakfast, I was having coffee, eating some breakfast, watching the morning news, and they're talking about current stuff. And one newscaster, she looks at her co-host and says, "We're all just in the gutter. We're all in the gutter." Guys, I've never heard a newscaster say that before.
In terms of, she was meaning that, like, as far as, like, everybody in the world just seems to be going, like, in the gutter, like, we're just, like, lowlifes and people that are just...
She was talking about meanness and how we're just...
Okay.
No, she was talking about the meanness, just the mean-spiritedness of just, we're chopping people down, we're criticizing people, we're
shaming everybody.
Shaming everybody in a variety of ways. And she kind of shook her head, and I thought, you know, you're absolutely correct.
I think the problem is, I mean, part of it is like social media, right?
Yes.
Because all of a sudden you have
huge part of it.
the floodgates have opened for anybody to say anything that they want off the top of their head with no consequences.
No consequences,
now,
no accountability.
Some people have consequences, like, you know, people who have been fired from TV shows or, you know, gotten kicked out, you know, fired from their jobs or kicked off of their school teams or whatever. But by and large, everybody else can say whatever the heck they want if you're just like a nobody, right? Like, and now you're somebody for saying whatever you want, and it makes you feel important. And I just feel like this has got to change somehow. I don't know what all the solutions, and maybe that's what we talk about a little bit right now.
I guess we can start on it, because I'm not sure in just a short time period we could cover all the solutions, but we could start, certainly. I think it's an ongoing conversation.
And we definitely, if you're listening out there, we want to hear your ideas of how we can stop being so mean to each other.
Yes.
Because it wasn't like that just even a few years ago.
No.
Like, or even sometimes now, like, you wouldn't normally, like, walk up to somebody and just say something totally mean. But you feel like you can do that on social media or, like, to complete strangers. Like, you know, like, if you're sitting in a classroom, like, generally you just wouldn't go over to somebody or even to your teacher and just, like, say something completely mean out of nowhere, you know, to them.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, your teacher shows up in class, like, wearing an outfit that, like, maybe you snicker, like, that's weird or funny looking. Maybe you snicker behind your back with your friends a little, which is not good.
Yeah.
But, like, you wouldn't go up to your teacher and say, like, oh my gosh, you're so fat, you shouldn't be wearing that. Like, but that's what people do on social media, right?
They do, and they get
do.
away with it for most of the part because they're anonymous,
right?
And there's no consequences for the most part. There's no accountability, and you've got this huge platform to say anything to anybody about it. And I think that in turn has also made our culture meaner. I mean, I'm having lunch with a professional. I don't want to say too much. And in the conversation, the guy finally looks at me and goes, "You know what, Steve? You're a lot better looking now that you're older than you were when you were younger."
Oh my goodness.
And I just look at him and go, I'm thinking to myself, okay, was I ugly when I was younger?
Well, I don't know if that's mean. That's just true. No, just kidding. Okay,
Katie,
Larissa,
jump in here.
I ask for your forgiveness right now, Steve. I mean, I think that's the other thing. Like, I feel like there's no room for forgiveness either and apologies. No. Like, I feel like if you do say something mean, because look, we all are human. I just did it. I did it to Steve. I said something mean to him. Just knee-jerk reaction.
Can I shame you now?
You can shame me now. But, like, I was trying to make a joke about it.
Sure.
The joke fell flat.
That it did.
and it was a little mean of a joke. And, like, in some cases, like on social media now, I would be like a pariah forever and banned or, like, you know, shunned from circles.
I'm going to unfriend you.
Yeah, I'm going to unfriend me because, like, now I hate men and, like, I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I get labeled like, oh, you're a man hater because you just, like, slammed like a guy. Like, what's wrong with it? Or, you know, or vice versa. It's more, you hear more common the other way. Like, a guy says something, you know, then they're like, oh, you're a misogynist, and, you know, like, you get labeled automatically. And so, like, I think there's also no room for, like, okay, saying sorry or, like, you know, admitting that
and being forgiven
and being forgiving, because it's like a two-way street. It's like, I think people continue to be mean to, like, if they offend somebody and, like, you know, the person doesn't accept their apology, then they're going to keep offending somebody, because then they're like, well, I apologize, but they don't care. They still think I'm a racist or they think I'm a misogynist or whatever. So, like, what's the point of even apologizing? I might as well keep being mean to everybody and insult everyone because that's who they think I am. So,
and that's true. You know, it goes to being able to redeem a relationship, a friendship. Katie, what's the meanest thing or one of the mean things? I'm thinking of one you told me one time, but I don't want to bring it up. That's happened to you. Somebody's come up and they've just shamed you. They've been mean to you. They've been awful.
There's a lot that I've had people come up to me and say. One that comes to mind is when I tell people I have a beauty title, because I don't wear a lot of makeup. Like I like to be very casual, like just day to day, unless I'm at an event. Like I don't wear makeup. And, I like to just dress down.
Well, let me interrupt you just a second and tell our listeners what your beauty title is, because some may not know.
I'm Ms. California American Diamonds, and it's my second year reigning. And I get a lot of people, like when I just randomly strike out conversations with people and they ask me what I do, I tell them that. And I get the up and down and just blank stares. And then they'll finally be like, there's no way you're a beauty queen.
No, people. That wasn't an illustration I was thinking of. They actually say that to you and they look at you?
I've had several people tell me that. They're like, no, you don't have the look, you don't have the body. There is just no way you have a beauty title. I'm like, okay.
That's so
Let's start judging you, like seriously. I'm like, maybe there's like other reasons I won the title, like you don't know.
And I feel like beauty pageant is such like a misleading term for like what it is, or even a lot of the other ones have turned into, because a lot of it is based on, your beauty in terms of academics or what you're doing in the world. So it's a combination of things. So sometimes the, say, quote unquote, like pinup model who's like super skinny and super whatever is like not maybe that person you want to represent your state or whatever, because they don't have any substance behind them. Now I'm not saying people who are quote unquote like model, swimsuit model cover people are like all dumb, because there's some really smart ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, a lot of pageants now, like they're going more toward like, well, except for like the main ones, like the Miss America and all that, like they still do the, the bikinis and all that stuff. But a lot of them are getting away from that because they want to show it's more, it's their heart, or it's their, what they do for their community that makes them beautiful, or any like other stuff like that is kind of more the route
and
they're going.
And I think that's a great like model, because in all honesty, I think that whole artificial like fake tan and like
photoshopping,
let's be honest. I guess like the boob job thing is not in anymore. Like, but at one point it
nose
was
jobs or
like
lip jobs,
right, or Botox or whatever it happens to be.
The bum job
the
or whatever.
The booty job is the big thing
yeah.
right now. But like, I think a lot of that is a very like artificial, and I think especially in our generation, it's like people want more authenticity. So I think to have somebody like espousing the qualities of beauty that may not be quote unquote your typical like Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, like for them to call you out like that is just insulting,
right?
It's just
really
and you've had
really
and they don't know what's going on. Like they don't know that you have health problems.
Yeah.
That you were like I'm not saying you're not skinny, but like you were a lot skinnier than you were when you first got your crown, and then you had all these health problems. You know what I'm just saying?
Yeah, it's like and people judge
they don't
just by looking at you, and like they're so mean. They don't know the real story. Behind, that person has a health issue, they gained weight, or that person, has this, or that person does that. Like, they don't get to know the real people, and they just judge, and then they're just so mean, like going off the superficial. And it's even worse now, because with social media, they make memes about people.
Right.
And then it's like, it never ends. Like, you think, like, it's finally ending, the meanness, and then it's like, you think that person's over it. Like, we were talking about the forgiveness thing. And then just out of the blue, 5 months later, they block you off, Snapchat. You're like, I thought you were over it. Look, I am. I thought you forgave me.
No.
No.
And it's like, no, you didn't, because you just blocked me. Why would you randomly block me if you're over it,
Well, and all these, like, things, but it's like social media, like all the social media revenge, right?
Yeah.
Like whether it's, sending out photos and that are not flattering or whatever. I mean, this is also causing a lot of people to think about and to take their lives by suicide.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, the cyberbullying,
right.
and also people are doing, and that's another discussion too for another time is the you're bullying yourself,
Ghosting.
the selfie bullying, and because people, you don't know how to handle what's coming at you. I want to jump in here because I think what we're doing is really multiple conversations, but let's jump in. Two quick things. One is, what do you think causes people to be so mean? What are some of the causes? The second one is, what can we do? What advice do we have? What thoughts do we have about starting to change the mean culture, whether it's on your campus, at work, at home? How can we do that? So first thing, what's causing people to be mean? I'll jump in and say, I think one of the reasons is jealousy.
Yeah.
You're just jealous.
And it makes you feel better to put somebody else down.
Yeah.
I also think they just weren't hugged enough as a kid.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds funny, right?
No, seriously.
But I think a lot of people who are not shown love by their family members, and like this is or because they have mean parents. Let's be honest.
If all you knew was meanness, you don't know how to be nice.
So you have parents that are divorced. They argue all the time. They're mean to each other. So what are you going to be? Your model is you're going to be mean too. So, or here's a funny thing. It's like if you were picked on as a kid, sometimes you turn into the bullier too, because if you were bullied as a kid, and again, maybe it's like a sibling thing, you had a big brother, a big sister that always was mean to you, then you decide to act that. Now you have no one to pick on because you have no younger siblings. You start picking on your friends,
picking on somebody else. It's cyclical. What about identity? Being not having a solid identity, self-image.
And I think that goes back to like confidence and having someone. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be your parents, but like I think everybody, for their self-esteem, like needs to be shown and loved. Like for me personally, like I'm very grateful that my parents told me they loved me all the time. And even too much, to the point where like I think they smothered me. But I think as a result,
too much hugs,
a little bit too much hugs. And it's really unusual because like you can't see me, but like I'm Chinese American, and my parents were born in China. I was born here, and so like there are some cultural things within the Asian culture. Like most parents are a little bit more distant. Like I hear this from a lot of my friends. Like, oh, my parents never said I love you. They just kind of they provide for you. They send you to school. They make sure you're taken care of, and that's the way of showing love. But they normally don't hug and tell you you're great and you're they always want you to be better because they don't want to have you have a big head. But like, and this is like a cultural thing. Like, oh, it's like, why aren't you as smart as so and so? Like, or your big sister.
And then we've got the antithesis of that really with Italians. It's hug and kiss. Right. And, your aunt comes up, your grandmother comes up.
So maybe Italians have higher confidence than Asians. But like, I'm one of the unusual people where I have a lot of high confidence because my parents told me. So I was never bullied. And I'll tell you this, my parents, like my dad especially, like he was somebody that always told me like, don't let anyone bully you, and don't you bully anyone.
Yes, thank you.
And so I always took that like lesson. So like he always said, like, stand up for yourself.
Yep.
Because people, here's the other thing. I mean, I know this isn't a conversation about bullying, but like people kind of sense weakness, right?
Yes.
So like if somebody's mean to you, like they're not going to be mean to you again a second time. Like if you say something either kind to them back. Because sometimes I think the last thing somebody, like, this is how you diffuse somebody who's mean, right? Like,
they're looking for a reaction.
Yes.
So, like, they're going to think, like, you're going to say something mean back so that they can say something mean back. So if you say something like, you know what? Like, I'm sorry you had to say that, but, I wish the best of luck to you, or like I hope
then walk away
and like I really hope you have a really great day, and like they don't know what to do with you if you say something nice.
Really, like the saying, like, kill them with kindness is really true, because you throw them off guard and that's not what they were looking for, so they don't want to pick on you anymore because it didn't work.
Most people know when they say something mean like that, like they know it's something mean. There's some people that are oblivious. Like I think your friend was sort of oblivious who talked about the age, like, oh, you looked better when you were younger. Like,
no, I look better now.
Oh, you look better now.
You look better now. I was ugly when I was young, and I look so much better now when I'm older. It's like, what is this?
Like that one was kind of like a backhanded.
It wasn't
compliment.
A friend, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, it's somebody that you just like.
I had to have a meeting with. Yes.
Yeah, but like that's kind of a backhanded like compliment, right? Like so that some people are like completely aware, but like. That one that you experienced, Katie, was flat out.
Oh, that's terrible.
Like that was just mean. Like that was just insulting, And I totally get that you would feel uncomfortable, but all you can do is really say like, you got to kill them with kindness.
Yeah. So how do we do that practically? I mean, a couple practical things. Katie, we'll start with you. What's one thing that we can do and our listeners can do to start changing this culture of meanness to a culture of kindness?
So I heard something the other day, and it kind of stuck with me about like why people are mean and why they act out and lash out. And it was, you kind of hit on it. They're very insecure, and the issue and what they're saying to you, they're reflecting from themselves.
Okay.
So if you kind of take it from that perspective, like maybe, the person is like making fun of your weight. Well, are they overweight? Are they putting their insecurity on you?
Okay.
And they're saying that because of you. So if you kind of look at it from a different perspective, and if you know where that person's coming from, and maybe you understand why they're saying that, then maybe you can respond in a nicer way where it's not going to blow up into this huge issue, and it's like you're going to resolve it right there, and it can lead to, forgiveness and being friends again, and just kind of think about it that way. So maybe just respond different and think before you react. I know a lot of times like you're really hurt in that moment and you really want to lash out and get revenge, but maybe if it's like over social media, take a couple days, or over an email or a text, don't respond right away. Take a couple days, kind of think about maybe why they said that, and then respond back.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, because with social media, I mean, texting, sending a tweet, whatever, it's just so instantaneous, and then we don't think, and then it's like, oh.
Yeah. It's out there. It's out there.
You can't take it back.
You can delete it.
You can delete it, but it's already out there. It's it's like words. You can never take a word back. You can apologize. You can say, I'm sorry, forgive me, but it's out there.
Yeah.
And I think like one thing that sounds really simple, if you wouldn't want that said to you, don't say it.
Exactly. I mean, it's and here's another simple thing. How about just a simple smile? Just smiling at people. I mean, it just, people don't get that enough. I think this is a discussion we need to continue another time, because there's so much we need to talk about bullying but people that are listening today with us, please treat other people the way you want to be treated. Think before you text. Think before you say something, and let's try to compliment one another. Find something you can say to somebody that's a compliment. Hey, I like your sunglasses. Whatever it happens to be, cool shoes, whatever it is, just something that's a compliment.
Complimenting and smiling are the number one ways.
Yeah, complimenting and smiling.
Mean people.
So.
Steve, you look just as good as you did when you were younger. Is that better?
That's better, Larissa. Thank you so much. All right, guys, listening, get a hold of us, will you? We're all about you talking to us. We care about you guys. If you're struggling with just being in the middle of a mean culture, whether it's at home or at school or at work, get a hold of us, okay? You can text us, UTalk at 411-247, utalkradio.com. You can give us a call, 855-50-UTalk. If you want to chat with us, let us know. Go to our website, utalkradio.com, and send us a note about what you're doing to change this mean culture. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.
This is UTalk Radio.